Hey, welcome back everyone. Today's going to be the start of a two-part video for the build and installation of the new carport that replaced that one back there. And this first part's going to get started with just kind of going through the inventory, what you can expect to receive when you order one of these kits, and then some ground prep, removing the old carport, and then building the frame. And then the second part will be basically just getting the roof and trim on. So we're gonna get right into that. But first, I just wanna give you guys a couple specs, on the carport, and then we'll get right into it. So the carport I went with is 22 foot wide by 24.5 foot long. Although I will say that is if you include the overhang from the roof on the rear to the roof on the front. So mine, I actually ended up making it flush because I'm going to put it against the house and everything like that. So this is more like 23.5 foot from the end of that frame rail all the way out to the end of that roof panel. But the frame itself is 22.5. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And also the other thing is I opted to go for the 8 foot tall sidewalls, because I got other plans in the future, and the height will help me a lot with that. Yeah, that's the specs on the carport. And then just real quick thing too is they send you all this stuff in an email, so you can print this all out, which is a manual with the specs for your specific carport, and then they have a general manual covering the installation. And then also I try to keep all my, shipping and inventory sheets and stuff like that. So everything with the carport they send you, and I suggest keeping it in a book. That way it just keeps everything organized. But yeah. Like I said, I got the frame pieces. I got them all stacked up. I brought them in here, put them up on the tires. So I have everything there. I got my the ground anchors, which I chose to just go with the ones that go into the dirt, or in their instructions they actually say to basically dig footers, pour concrete, and then run these through the frame into the concrete. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. I don't really know. I have no idea. Yeah, the rest of the pieces there. This is for the edging of the roof panels, so like when it comes out this way. They give me all the screws, of course. They got the gasket tape, I'm going to call it, where the two panels, they overlap each other, and do that to prevent leaks. And then, like I said, this was today, so I guess this is the company they use for their roof panels. Everything looks pretty good. I don't see any problems. I chose gray, but they have they have a good bit of colors you can go with. So we're gonna be not getting rid of it, but I'm gonna repurpose this crazy shack looking thing. It's gonna go back there and replace the other one that got crushed during the tornado. And eventually I would like to make this look better, but it's not gonna be my priority right now. So that'll get unbolted there, and hopefully I'll be able to move that. I'll show this whole process later on. I have an idea how I'm going to do this. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. But the new carport anyways is going to be wider. It's going to be, I think, yeah, it's 22 foot wide and it's 24.5 foot long. So that'll be good. So I did this last night. You'll see that too. I dug this all out by hand, which was a lot of fun. If you have the means, I'd say go ahead and get a little machine you can do that with, but I didn't see the point, and I don't have the money for that, so just dug it by hand, had my wife help me. This is definitely not like I would say not so much a how-to, like when it comes to doing stuff like this. This is how I'm going to do it. So my plan is I have a little mark on the wall, kind of where in a general area where that frame should come down. So it'll be somewhere in there. And then I do plan to close into one side, not with this stuff. I'm gonna make it look a little better, but probably gonna go with OSB or like T111 or T1 or T11, whatever it is. Sound like Terminator terms. Anyways, and then I'll close this side here, and then I pretty much plan on just backfilling it. For now, that's what I'll do. Down the line, if it becomes a problem, you know, I'll address it then, but I'm not really worried about it. Next thing is going to be probably getting some of this stuff moved. It's either getting some of the stuff moved or, like I said, I'll show you how I plan to move it. I hope it works out, but I got this stuff, you know, it's mounted to the block, so I just got to pull out some of those tap cons and be good to go. And then that'll bring that all out here. And even with the new one, I actually plan on doing the same thing. Once it gets in the spot where I want it, I'm going to tap con it to the block again. You know, probably need to use wood again as spacers and whatnot. As I said, this isn't necessarily like what you should do. This is how I'm going to do it. So if you don't like what, you know, I'm doing, I would definitely suggest finding a better option, or, you know, seek professional opinion or something. But all right. So we got a perimeter marked here. Here's our professional landscaping dig lines. So now I can continue doing all the fun stuff. So that is step one for carport prep. Okay, so moving along here, you can see I had these straps I made screwed into the wood, and then this is Tapcon to the block. Some of it was Tapcon all the way through. Where I could do that, that's what I did. That one's done. I don't think I have anything in here, but I had remnants of an old concrete slab, so I drilled holes through this and the wood, and I actually have a concrete anchor in there and down at that end, and I took out both those bolts already, so we're good there. So now I just need to bounce over that side. I still have to get up here, but I was a little scared because something up here made a, you know, a nice web, and I don't really feel like having it jump down at me, so I got to get something to just kind of clear it out so I don't have to deal with that. Well, here we are, next day. Here's my crazy idea. I actually put wheels underneath the carport frame, or the, I don't know what to call it, but it's part of it, so I got it on wheels. No, it's not C-clamped only. There's actually screws and stuff in there, hold it all on there, but I put that C-clamp on there because this board is like kicked, same with the other one, so it has like the whole wheel like crooked, and that's sort of making me feel better about it. But the good news is it actually kind of rolls nice, so this is good. But, you know, will it work getting it from here out back? I don't know, but we're gonna try it. So, because I really don't want to take this apart, because to take it apart I have to uncover it, and that's not happening anytime soon. So all right, we got this all set up and you can watch me struggle. So I'll get this all set up here, and daughter's just gonna play with the rocks till I get a little further out, and then I'll have to have her move. But next day, got my cab moved. Made that little cart for it last year or whatever I started this project, so got everything pretty much out of the way that I need to move right now. Eventually I might have to move all this. I gotta get this out of the way still, but here's the frame. This is actually a floor pan for the cab. Just move it there. I got all the frame pieces here, so that's what we're gonna get ready to do next. We're gonna get the base rail system assembled, so get that all run along here and run along over there. Okay, so we got the first base rail assembled. So this is 22.5 foot. That's the size of my carport. According to the book, first 18 foot. That's the kind of the standard, at least with these bigger ones, that's the standard pieces here using the frame. So we got these two here. This is one, that is one piece. And then this is your center. This is separate. So this has the center upright. And then there's the joint there, and then it goes to another of one of those end pieces just flipped around. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but so yeah, that measured out 18 foot for that down the, just to the outside there of that post. And then right at the end there, we just took a final measurement. We're right at 22.5 foot. All looks good. Right, Ollie? Ignoring me, he doesn't care. So this looks pretty good. And we got that laid out there. So now next step is to, once you get one of these assembled, you take two of the self-drilling screws and run them in, lock in each joint. But I'm gonna wait till I get the other side assembled and then we'll do that. So moving along. Okay. Do a quick little demonstration of putting these two joints together just to show you how simple it is. I guess this time you can slide it in there. Close enough, right? Okay. So once you get it started, we'll tap it with the boom. These are the self-drilling screws you want to use, or they give you in the kit. And then you want to use something like this, makes it a lot easier. Cordless impact, these are 5/16. This makes it go a lot quicker. Otherwise, I don't know, I guess you would have to get a drill, pre-drill them and then run them in with something else, but that'd take forever. Make sure you put it on the right side of the joint. So that's in there, you're going through both pieces. Let off so you feel it go in there. That's it. And then you want to get rid of all these little shavings because these can actually rust and then it'll transfer into the piece itself. Ollie, is this okay with you? The dog doesn't like the impact. He keeps trying to bite it. Ollie's leaving it alone now. Okay. One more to go. I want a Jeep again. We got a guy driving his Jeep without top on it. Add a little bit more pressure. Okay, that's it for that. Okay, so you just want to go back, brush these off. Don't use your hand. You'll get one in your hand and it hurts. Anyways, just jumping back here. So this is basically step one. You get your base rails. That's what we just got done doing. So now that we're done there, so now flip through and we're going to start looking at the next. I have it marked. So my particular carport, it's 22 foot wide, has mine has an odd number of panels. So that means the first one is going to be centered on the peak. So I'm trying to follow instructions to a T, make sure this goes as smooth as it can. So this tells you want to do these measurements, these reference marks. That way, whenever it does come time to put these panels on, you'll be lining up the edges with your reference marks, and it keeps everything straight, true, all that good junk. But my next step is this. I'm gonna go put these marks on the peak, which they're under there. I gotta dig them out, and then I'll put those all on there. So that's what we're gonna do next. The way these are made, you might be able to see it now, but this, what do I want to call it? Divot. Yeah, that sounds funny right now. I think there's a better word, but it's okay. Anyways, it kind of goes in one direction. It's not completely, it's not the same on both sides. So what I'm saying is you want to get all of these facing the same direction. So we got both stacks, and then we'll pick, one side. It'll probably be this side, and we'll put our measurements down here. And then that way, when you go to assemble it, again, you want to have these all facing the same way, because that's just how those bends are. Just got to keep them all the same. 17 1/8. So measure that right there. Don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because I want to. But you take a square and hit the bottom. Line it up with your mark, and then go like that. That way you get it the whole way across. Do the next one. Apparently my Sharpie's dying. Alright. So we got 18. There's 3/16. 18 inches. 3/16. Okay, quick update. Here we go. So just got these kind of in position width-wise. Got our measurements to double check. Make sure we're at 22 foot wide, outside edge to outside edge. We have reached that. And then we're just kind of trying to somewhat level it out. It's not perfect right now, but it's good enough that we're gonna proceed and starting to lay out our truss pieces. Well, the truss assembly, all the pieces. We're gonna put one together, check the dimensions, and then since we don't really have the room to kind of build one, lay it in here, build another one, lay here, because of the width of everything, we're gonna build one at a time, walk it in, stand it up, get it into the back post, and then, we'll go from there, check our measurements, and then we'll kind of keep just doing it one section at a time until we build out. That looks huge. I guess everything needs smacked in some, but so, oh, I know why it looks huge. These are flipped. This one has to be flipped. Hi, I don't know who that is. Anyways, shit.
Oh.
Yep, big difference. I was like, man, we're like 30 foot wide. So this is made up of the post. They call this the rafter. Then you got your peak. Then you'll have another rafter, and then the post. And the standard one, it's 7 foot high walls. This is all you would use, but I went with the 8 foot tall walls. So we have one more piece to add in, which actually is right here. These are the extensions. So, yeah, that'll give it the additional foot once it slides in. And then, like I said, we'll put it all together, take a look at it, measure it. It looks good. Then we'll put the self tappers in, drills, screws, and walk it back and get the first one installed in the base rail system. So got one put together, got it all measured out. Top here, I call it the top, but top of the wall technically there. And that distance was really close. What did I say it was? It was off by 3/16. I think it was 22 and 3/16. So I called it good. Or 20, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then from here to there is 22, but you know, that's really going to be affected by the base metal or base rails. That's what I meant to say. My goodness, I'm all over the place. Challenge is going to be getting this up, and then we got to walk it back. Not sure if we'll be able to do it with just us, but we're going to give it a shot. All right, so I'm sure you guys just watched the struggle with that. Overall, not terrible, but sort of wasn't fun at first. Just had to rethink it. That's probably why in the instructions it says about you squaring this base up and like locking it down, but ours is a different installation. We're kind of winging the whole mounting portion, our ground surface, so that's just something that we kind of have to overcome, which wasn't too bad. We just had this base rail too far. It was too far forward compared to the other one, so it actually put that bottom, you know, the structure there. Oh geez, I can't talk. Tubing, the bottom piece of tubing, it was like this, so it looked like everything had to twist. So I did that. We fixed that up, got them kind of squared up that way. And then the other thing, it actually tells you in the instructions that you may have to do this. Pair of channel locks, or tongue and groove pliers as they are technically called, and then you take those and you bend all that stuff in. That way it kind of slips in there easier. But I will tell you, I'll do that with every one of these, but I'm also going to take a file and I'm just going to kind of knock this edge off, because I feel like it kept catching on that. We were so close the whole time, and then just kind of had to grab as I was holding it, and then just kind of doing this, and then eventually it fell right in as soon as it got past that lip. So yeah, I don't know, overall not bad. It's just something you have to overcome if you're doing it like we are. Otherwise, if you actually have a footer and all that stuff's right, then it'll probably go a lot smoother. Got the frame done. It is, I don't want to say it's, yeah, I guess it is bigger than what I was thinking. So it's pretty huge. It's pretty good though. I like it. I don't know. I didn't even look to see how much time that took us, because my brother stopped by and started helping us, and that was a huge help and made things go 10 times faster. So yeah, that was pretty good. Like 3 people was key. Have one person, you know, prepping tubes like I said earlier about deburring them, and even you know, using the wrench to kind of bend the tube pieces in. It just helps everything, you know, not catch on it, and then they slide in so much easier. And then I had 2 impact drivers, so I gave my brother one, I had one. So as we assembled, you saw that way, you know, he was completing one side, I was completing one side. I mean, this thing flew together. And so, and then putting these in here, once we got that back one, really the rest of them, after doing a little bit of tweaking there, you know, bending it in with the wrench, these really dropped in pretty nice. Like there was no problem. Maddie's over there holding up the carport, so she doesn't care about it yet. Probably not till I get a roof on it, and then it looks like a big playhouse. But yeah, the one thing that I didn't opt for, I didn't get the ports for the middle here for the trusses. It's sort of just because I plan on doing my own thing with that down the road. And I saw some other carports, some brands, they have brackets that are welded here and they run them like that, which is fine, that's good. This had the option for it. Although I'll say their option, they don't do the end trusses. They only do the centers like that, which I thought was weird. but in the future I'll add you know, some little support up top just like that. And then my plan is, because it was the other reason I got the 8-foot walls, because I was looking at it and I'm like, man, these are tall, but I remember why I did it. I wanted 8 foot because I wanted to mount, you know, mounting brackets, whatever, and then I'll run mine like that. That way it'll give me more storage up top and whatnot. I won't be using the whole thing for storage, but some areas. And then doing it that way, because I have 8-foot high walls, I still have the headroom to do, you know, what I'm going to do in the carport.
I found this.
Yeah, I know. We kept splitting wood every time we used it as a, you know, as a buffer when we were hammering on stuff just to get it together. But yeah, other than that, this actually went together really well. Next step here is we're squaring it up after the fact. And then once we get that all good, that's when I'll run in my ground spikes here that they provide us, which I'll show you real quick. So they give you a rebar, and it's got like a big like welded washer head on it. That way you can hammer them in there. They say to pour footers and stuff, and then you could run them into the concrete, you know, while it's wet like that. And then, you know, that's like a permanent thing. But I'm probably not doing that. And that's only because in my experience, I've already used different types of anchors where I've just drove them into the ground, and pretty much as long as they're long enough and you got enough of them, I've never had a problem. And like I said, we had a tornado and it never ripped out the other carport. So, and the other key thing that I'll be doing too is whenever I decide on how close I'm going to put it to the house, I will be anchoring it back to the block. So it'll be anchored to the block. It'll have the ground spikes. Then we'll start working on the roof and stuff. So, all right, well, that'll conclude the first part, you know, getting the frame up and everything like that. Hopefully that helps you out so far what to expect, you know, just getting started with it, putting the frame up. But yes, definitely check out the second part. That way you can see exactly what goes into putting the roof on and getting that trim on. But, you know, thanks for checking out the video right now, and, you know, we'll see you in the next one.